Have you ever actually wondered if you can become a millionaire on a totally normal salary? It feels like one of those things that's just for, the high flyers. But what if I told you the real path to seven figures has almost nothing to do with a giant income? What if it's a simple, kind of secret strategy that pretty much anyone can use? It all starts with a twist you probably won't see coming. I know, that sounds completely backwards, right? But think about it. Just saving cash in a bank account, that's a losing game. It's like trying to fill up a bucket that has a slow, constant leak. That leak, my friends, is inflation. Every single year, the money you've worked so hard to save is worth a little bit less. So to really build wealth, you can't just save. You gotta put that money to work. You have to invest. We get hit with this stuff all the time, right? These get-rich-quick ideas, dropshipping, gambling on the latest crypto coin, buying some course that promises all the secrets. But the actual, proven way to get wealthy, it isn't some secret shortcut. It's built on four things that sound kind of boring: discipline, patience, consistency, and the big one, time. It's not sexy, but it works every single time. And I'm about to show you three real-life people who prove it. Okay, so I want to tell you about three people you've almost certainly never heard of. They worked regular jobs, never made a ton of money, but they all became multimillionaires. Their stories are, well, they're kind of incredible. First up, meet Grace Groner. By all accounts, she lived a very simple, very ordinary life. She worked as a secretary at a pharmaceutical company her whole career. She never married. She didn't even own a car. But behind that quiet exterior was one of the most amazing financial stories you'll ever hear. So here's her strategy, and I use that term loosely because it was so simple. In 1935, she took just $180 and bought 3 shares of stock in the company she worked for. And that's it. She never put in another penny of her own money. For the next 75 years, all she did was take the dividends the company paid her and buy more stock with them. That's the whole plan. And the result of that unbelievable patience? When Grace passed away back in 2010, that one-time $180 investment was worth $7 million. Just let that sink in. Now, I gotta say, her strategy of owning just one stock is super risky, and I would never recommend it. But her story perfectly shows you the power of the core idea. Okay, let's move on to our next story. This is Ronald Reed. He spent his life working as a gas station attendant, and then, after he retired, he worked as a janitor. By all accounts, he was extremely frugal, driving the same old beat-up Toyota for years. Now, Ronald's approach was a little different, and honestly, a lot safer. He didn't bet it all on one horse. He just patiently built up a portfolio of companies that he knew and understood. We're talking about household names, right? AT&T, Johnson & Johnson, steady, reliable companies that paid dividends. No risky tech startups here. And the result for him, when he passed away at 92 years old, this janitor had a stock portfolio worth over $8 million. It's just more proof that you don't need some high-powered job to build incredible wealth. You just need a solid plan and a really, really long-term view. All right, our last story is maybe the most mind-blowing of all. Meet Ann Scheiber. She worked a pretty modest government job her whole life as an auditor for the IRS. And get this, she reportedly never even got a promotion. Ann's approach was, well, it was extreme. She lived way below her means in a tiny rent-controlled apartment. And she was so frugal that people said she wore the same clothes for decades. But just as important, she had an incredibly long time horizon. She lived to be 101 years old. By the end of her life, this woman, who never made a big salary, had managed to accumulate a truly staggering $22 million. So you have 3 different people, 3 totally normal lives, and 3 absolutely extraordinary fortunes. What on earth did they all have in common? Well, it wasn't really magic, but it sure works like it. These folks weren't financial geniuses. They didn't find some secret loophole in the system. Turns out, all 3 of them, whether they realized it or not, were following the exact same 4-part formula. And here it is. It's so simple. Number 1, live below your means. You have to create a gap between what you earn and what you spend. Number 2, you use that gap to save aggressively. That's the fuel for your investment engine. 3, you invest that money consistently, putting it to work for you. And number 4, the part that is so hard for most people, you wait. A very, very long time. That last ingredient is what does all the heavy lifting. So what was the real engine driving all their success? It's a concept you've probably heard of, but I promise you, its true power is almost always underestimated. It's the magic of compound interest. Look at this classic example, a penny that doubles in value every day for 30 days. For the first half of the month, on day 15, you've only got 163 bucks. It feels like a total joke. Even with just a week left to go, on day 24, you're not even close to being a millionaire. But then, the growth just goes nuts. It jumps from 1 million to over 5 million in just the last 2 days. That's the whole secret right there. In that penny example, something like 75% of the total money was made in the last 2 days alone. It's the exact same with investing your money. The growth is all at the back end. It's slow, it's boring for years, sometimes decades, and then it goes vertical. Now, obviously, your investments aren't going to double every single day, but they do double over time. And there's a really simple little mental trick to figure out how long that takes. It's called the rule of 72. You just take the number 72 and divide it by whatever annual return you expect to get. So if the stock market gives you about 10% a year on average, your money will double in about 7.2 years. That simple math is the quiet engine that built all those fortunes. So let's bring all this home and make it really personal. What does this journey actually look like for someone starting out today? Because the real secret ingredient here, it's not being a genius, it's just being patient. Okay, imagine you start from absolute zero and you invest $625 a month. You do it every single month through good times and bad, month after month for more than 2.5 decades. After 26 years of nothing but discipline, you finally hit your first huge milestone. $600,000. I mean, that is an amazing achievement. But wow, it took a really long time to get there. And this is the exact moment where most people get discouraged, they get bored, and they quit right before the real magic is about to kick in. Because if you just keep going for just a little while longer, something incredible starts to happen. That big pile of money you've built up starts to generate its own massive momentum. And it only takes 6 more years, just 6, to hit your next big goal. And that is $1 million. Seriously, think about that for a second. The first 600 grand took you 26 long years. The next 400 grand took you only 6. That is the power of compounding right in front of you. That's the moment your money officially starts working harder than you do. So the path is clear. It's not about being a stock market genius or having a 6-figure salary. It's about discipline, consistency, and more than anything else, it's about time. The journey is long, and the most dramatic, life-altering growth happens at the very end. The only real question is, do you have the patience to stick around long enough to see it?